Hello, my name is Caleb Smith with the Rocket Miner newspaper, here to provide your coronavirus or COVID-19 update for April 20th, 2020. In Sweetwater County, we remain at around 16 cases. According to Sweetwater County public health officials, that's 10 lab-confirmed cases and 6 probable cases, or cases where people have the symptoms and have had contact with a confirmed case, but are preferring to stay at home so as to limit the potential spread of the virus and leave resources for those who are in more serious need. When it comes to the conditions or symptoms of the virus, coughing, aches, fever, sometimes rashes, abdominal pains, whatnot, most of that can be ridden out at home without having to require hospitalization. Sweetwater County has yet to have any patients requiring hospitalization and 0 deaths at this point. When it comes to the recovery cases, in Sweetwater County, 7 remain active and thus still recovering, while 3 lab-confirmed positive cases and 3 probable patients have now recovered. So at 9, that's more than half of our figures. Those who are still in isolation are reported to be in fair to good condition with only mild symptoms. We also had an out-of-state traveler who tested positive while passing through Sweetwater County. He is reported to be fully recovered and back in his home state of Florida. Officials note that he will count toward our testing figures, but not actually for the official case numbers in Sweetwater County or Wyoming itself. When it comes to that, the Wyoming Department of Health reports that, as of the time of this filming, forgive me for not being psychic, we have 317 lab-confirmed cases and 111 probable cases, along with only 2 deaths. Not as low as we'd like, but certainly the envy of many other places in the United States right now. Broadening our scope, in the United States, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention report that there are 625 confirmed cases, and the U.S. death toll is now at 39,083 people. Johns Hopkins University reports that worldwide there are 2,472,259 confirmed cases, and the global death toll sits at 169,986 people. Now, more than 100 protesters visited the Wyoming State Capitol today to call for the reopening of businesses, schools, and other industries and businesses that have been temporarily closed by state health orders in response to COVID-19. Now, some of you may remember that, isn't there a health order that bans the gatherings of 10 or more people? You're right, but the rally organizers were able to obtain an expedited permit from Cheyenne officials that allowed them to peacefully and legally protest. Now, there are many people who are arguing that the societal costs of the closure, such as unemployment, uncertain child care situations, are outweighing the other public health benefits, stopping the spread. Partway through the rally, Governor Mark Gordon actually came out of the building and briefly met with the people, talked on the steps. He led a prayer and then addressed some concerns, quoting the governor. "I relied on the good people of Wyoming, who I knew would do the right thing, and I'm looking at success even as we speak." The governor emphasized that we're one of about 7 states that did not have a required stay-at-home order. The governor says that he continues to work, especially with these other states, to figure out what are the guidelines, what are the metrics, what figures are we looking at when it comes to, hopefully in the near future, declining number of cases, the chart of new cases being reported leveling off, to the point where they'll make the decision that they'll be rolling back changes and restrictions. He said the public should expect to hear from the group soon when it comes to those specific benchmarks, so we'll be able to independently keep an eye on things. Quoting the governor again, "I am not sure when we get back to normal, but I can tell you when we're going to work, and it's as soon as we possibly can." give the governor credit. There have been more than a few states that have had protests right outside the governor's residences or the Capitol, and they haven't had the governor come out to meet with them. He still stresses that he's not setting specific dates that are unmovable. Currently, the health orders are in place, even after the federal guidelines came out outlining the three-phase plan for reopening the country. Governor Mark Gordon stressed that the current length of the health orders, which are through the end of the month, April 30th, that he'd neither shortened it nor lengthened it, looking to see what those are. He said that they're looking for health data to indicate when they're going to make moves. One final quote, "When we go back to work, we want to make sure we can continue the work," Gordon said. Meaning, it's his goal that if we hunker down a little bit more now, we won't have to worry about one of those things. But maybe you've had a young driver who's working a clutch where it's the stop, go, stop, go, stop, go. We want to open and stay reopen. Or if there are closures, for it to be in an isolated areas and not impact the entire state. Across the country, other places are looking at changing their orders. Colorado, it's just announced that its stay-at order is going to end at next week. It started back in the middle of March. When it also comes to developments, it's cool to report that the Sweetwater County Sheriff's Office and local school districts have been working with our county officials to provide more 3D molded masks, specifically the reusable N95 masks, to equip all local police, fire, and emergency medical first responders with a mask and a filter. To this date, the officials result that the partnership has produced more than 100 masks. Now, maybe you're like me, and you're only going out with a cloth covering. You might just have one of those little nice and simple rubber band masks. And maybe you're like me and you wear these glasses, and you have to deal with the fact that they're fogging up. Well, let me share some advice from a New York Times article that I specifically printed off today, because the fogging of masks has become a bit more frequent, especially with our recent cold snaps. When it comes to your hot breath coming out and the condensation on the glass making things foggy, there are a couple different things that you can stop, or that you can try. Tip number one is to mold your mask. A lot of masks have a built-in bendable metal strip that mold to the bridge of your nose. For those of you who may not have that with their model, or you're dealing with a homemade fabric mask, they suggest adding pipe cleaners to help you mold the mask to better fit your face. Another tip is to tighten the mask so that it fits snugly. It notes that if air is going out the top, you're not wearing your mask correctly. It needs to be having as much as possible a tight, firm seal. Otherwise, your mask is not as effective to keep stuff from getting in, or, as is more common in this case, and more helpful to, if you would be a person who's carrying it and don't know it, that you're not able to get as much of your condensation and droplets out there. If you're going to be spending a bit more time, they suggest taping your mask, such as using athletic tape, medical tape, or even an adhesive bandage to seal the top of the mask around the bridge of the nose. It's one of those things where they do note that don't use non-porous household tape like packing tape or duct tape, because that can irritate the skin. They say that if you're just trying to do a quick run outside, you're just dropping off the trash can, the bags in the trash can, it's not necessarily warranted. But if you're spending a bit more time out in the mask, or you're doing a bit more intensive chores, such as taking care of a sick person, that taping it up might be well warranted. Another one is to pull up your mask and use those glasses. Specifically using the weight of the glasses. Pull the mask as high as it can, still making sure it's under your chin, and then letting your frames rest on top of the mask. When it comes to the author of the piece, Tara Parker Pope, this is her personally preferred method, but she notes it does depend upon the shape and style of your frames. There's some home treatments you can use. Soapy water is something that leaves behind if you allow it to air dry, it can leave behind a thin film that stops water molecules from forming. There are also some home remedies such as baby shampoo, toothpaste, shaving cream. People are reporting different degrees of success. See what works for you. And if what you find is successful, stick with it. And if it's not working, try something else. The article notes that maybe you're like me and you were an active swimmer in your youth, or still now. And then there's the old standby for swimmers or scuba divers to spit in your glasses, swish it around, and dunk it. They're noting that since we're dealing with a respiratory virus, maybe this is not the best time to be spitting on your glasses and spreading germs around. There are some commercial anti-fog products. I've been at many a trade show where someone got me to clean my glasses for free, and I walked away without their bottle. Maybe you were in a similar circumstance and made a purchase. Try it now, see how it works. The writer notes that there are some glasses that have special protective coverings that, whether it's for the glare, scratches, smudges, dust, or water, that it's just going to resist all efforts. If nothing else works, as a last resort, the writer suggests pushing your glasses forward on your nose to allow more air to circulate and to stop the fog. The downside is that it's going to distort or limit your clear vision. It depends on what your circumstance is. I've personally tried this while driving and quickly abandoned it and just have been taking off my mask while I'm driving, since I'm driving solo, and I'm just rearranging the mask when I get there. I would encourage any of you watchers that if you have a dependable, works every time bit of advice, that I would certainly like to hear it. This foggy glasses are driving me nuts. And you can put them in the comments, you can email us, you can mail it, and if it's that good, I'll post it on the video myself, if that's your level of expertise. Right now, we're depending upon the kindness, the creativity, the home remedy tips. It's the little things that take the edge off, that have a lot more mileage than what we may have realized just a short time before. That's the type of things that we're trying to provide, along with the daily updates and hopefully some encouragement at the Rocket Miner. This has been Caleb Smith, wishing you a good day and a safe tomorrow.